This is episode 106 of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. Welcome to episode 106 of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today, I have the fruitful investor, Mat Piche, on the show for the second time. He was originally on episode 16, and Matt has done a lot since then. So when I have high-level investors on this show, I always find that when I catch up with them about a year later or whenever it is later, they've accomplished a lot, and Matt's no exception to that. Last time I had him on the show, he was talking about his well-refined flipping business. He was constantly bringing properties in using his wholesale tactics. He was flipping them and he was generating a healthy profit on every single one. Well, now Matt's still doing that. He's sold off some of his hold portfolio and he's doing private lending, generating $20,000 of profit per month in addition to continuing on with that flipping business. And I often find myself just questioning, how does he have time for it all? How does he fit this all in his head? How does he delegate these tasks and continue to grow? Because every real estate investor eventually struggles with this about managing time and how do you continue to grow. So with Matt, it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. We really dug into it in this discussion and got into what his business practices are, how he's been able to grow and how he continues to grow, because we can all apply that in our businesses. As always, I recommend going back to episode 1 if you're new to this podcast so that you can absorb the nuts and bolts that we dig into in the first 10 episodes. And then, of course, just continue on and enjoy all the wisdom that's been dropped by the many wonderful guests of this podcast. And I'd like to ask you a favor, if you could please just make sure that you hit the like, subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you have not already done so, and then leave me a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave me a rating and review. Let others know what you think. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please enjoy episode 106 with the fruitful investor, Mat Piche. Hello and welcome to the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. I have on the show for the second time, but it's been a while, Mat Piche.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, thanks for coming. So a lot has changed. It always does. It seems like with productive real estate investors. One time I interview them, a year later I interview them, and a lot has changed. So last time I talked to you, you're doing a lot of BRRRR projects, a lot of joint ventures. And I know I've spoken with you since, just not on the show. Yeah. Tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, so now we kind of switched gears completely, actually, from the BRRRR strategy, and now we're doing flips full time. So, or full on. We're still doing BRRRRs, we're still doing partnerships, but the main focus is the flips. Yeah,
why the change?
I just want more active income in this part of my business and this part of my life. So we kind of sold off about 12 properties in the past year, of all the buy and holds we had, or not all of them, a good amount of them, and then took the profits and then got it into private lending. So I'm looking for more passive lifestyle.
Yeah. Why, were you just finding you were too busy?
Yeah, it was just like, I just want to enjoy like the fruits of my labor kind of thing. Cause like we've been working for like 10 years, just grinding. And like we were kind of like wealthy on paper, but you know, we still had to work for this money and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, let's switch gears and sell some of these properties I've had for 3, 4, 5, 7 years. Yeah. Took the profits, threw it in private lending. And now, you know, we're living off the cash flow, which is fantastic, and still doing flips and still doing buy and holds. So now we're getting the whole picture here.
So in other words, it's more fruitful.
Way more fruitful, yeah.
Got to live up to that name.
Exactly.
So approximately what amount of cash did you set aside to be for private lending?
Yeah, so we started private lending about 9 months ago, and we already have 1.5 million into private lending right now.
Was the idea that you'd be able to vacation more and kind of just walk away from this?
Totally. Just more vacations, and then more like especially what's going on right now in the world, if I just said, screw it, I'm out of here, I'm done with this. Like I could retire tomorrow if I wanted to and be very, very happy with the amount of money we're making. But, you know.
What do you think about, so obviously inflation is something we're going to worry about here with the way our government's printed money. One of the things that crosses my mind when I think about private lending, because I know it's a great way to create cash flow in your life. Yeah. What do you think about the concern with your principal? You know, you have 1.5, but is 1.5 really 1.5 next year?
Yeah, I don't know, but we're getting such good returns on our money. Like we're getting 17% almost across the board on our money. So inflation is not going to be 17%, right? I don't know, be 3%, 4%, 5%, right? So
well, we hope not anyways.
Yeah, Jesus, I hope lower than that. But even if it is, you know, we're making 17% on our money. So it ain't going to be that.
Yeah, fair enough. And odds are it certainly hasn't been that. Yeah. So let's hope that we don't ever have to see that. Sure. That's the thing. Like with property, I know that no matter what, that's going to go up in value. But I certainly get it. Like I've done some private lending myself. Obviously, there's a huge benefit there. Yeah. Okay, so you've got that. You're doing flips. How many flips are you doing at a time?
Yeah, about 3 to 4 at a time, at any time. Yeah.
3 to 4 all the time.
Yeah. So we're doing about 15 to 20 flips a year. And then plus we're doing still our buy and holds whenever we do them. We also managed renovation jobs for our clients. Like we help them buy the property as I'm a realtor. So I help them buy it, and then our fruitful team manages that. So we have, with all of the jobs going on, it's like 4, 5, 6 renos at once.
How the heck do you do that?
A team, man, which is the next part. This is why I want to get into the private lending thing, because we have team members now, the social media guy, our project manager, our assistant realtor, because I'm getting way too busy for the realtor stuff. Who else do we have? My wife does all the staging and all the color schemes for the flips and stuff like that. The team's growing really well. So I'm not really like in the business at all anymore, which is exactly what I wanted.
How did you manage that? So I know like a lot of people, they come from, they went to like school, they learned about business at Min or something. They started like getting a little bit of a basis. I don't think you started there.
No.
So how did you, one, educate yourself to be at this point?
Yeah.
Did it just come naturally, or like, tell me the story behind that?
I think it came kind of naturally because when I got out of high school, I went to carpentry and did my apprenticeship. So right after high school, I got right into construction. My dad was in construction. His dad was in construction. So it was kind of in the family. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to renovate properties, and I had my own business when I was really young, 20, 21, 22, renovating properties strictly for other investors in my area. Mm-hmm. So that's how I kind of started, and how I became a realtor and more white collar is all my clients I was doing renos for were like, Matt, I wish you were a realtor. Like all the realtors I'm working with don't know anything about renovations, cash flow, budgets. Yeah. You know all of this already. You should be a realtor. I was like, yeah, I don't know. But I knew I wasn't going to be a realtor forever. Or sorry, a carpenter. There's no way I was going to bust my ass for, I was 50 years old. So I was like, well, maybe I'll entertain this realtor thing. So anyway, I just slammed through my realtor course in 4 months, just did it all, became a realtor, specializing still with investors. And then it just kind of grew and grew and grew.
But before being the realtor, how did you know cash flow at that point? You weren't the realtor, you didn't own the properties. Yeah. So how did you know? You just took an interest, or you were just asking questions and kind of learning as you went? Yeah, I just took a huge interest. I got into, I was obsessed with flips by at the age of 18. I was watching HGTV, so I was just obsessed with that. Yeah. And then I found RAIN, which is what really came from all my education came from RAIN. So I just dove into Don Campbell's books, went to RAIN meetings, and then that's really when I sparked my interest and was learning about cash flow. But I don't know, I guess it kind of came naturally. I picked it up really quick. Mm-hmm. And the whole moral of the story was I was just obsessed, and still am just savagely obsessed about business and success and real estate. Yeah. So that's the key to all of this. Let's unpack that more though. Why savagely obsessed? What do you see it doing? Is it just an emotional, I find this fun? Yeah. Or is it I'm trying to get from A to B?
Yeah, trying to get from A to B. But if I look back throughout my life, things that I enjoyed, I was always in full on obsessed about anything, whether it was playing the guitar in a band, skateboarding, whatever, when I was a teenager, right? But anything that I loved, I was just full on. So it's just my personality type to just do a good job. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it very well. Yeah. So that's just kind of where I come from naturally, I guess. Did you have a vision when you started of what it was going to be? Did you think, I'm going to buy a property? Or you thought, I'm going to buy 10 properties? What was it? I don't even know. I didn't think I was going to get this big or this amount of real estate for sure. But I knew I was going to do well because I just grew up with a middle-class family, lower middle-class family. And my parents always struggled for money. And I just knew I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But I didn't know, we're going to take it to this level. But I just knew I wasn't going to do the normal average thing. I knew that too. I was in the same position with my family. They were middle class, didn't have a whole lot. I remember the fights about money, not fights, but I would walk in on my parents' tension. For sure. So that I knew I didn't want. Yeah. But you only need to go so far to overcome that. Then it becomes something else. So right now, is it just about being the best, or is that kind of where you're at with it? Yeah, I guess so. Just being the best. Obviously, I have friendly competitions with other investors in my area. Mm-hmm. You did a flip, I'm gonna buy 2. Whatever. It's just a competition. Because now, like you're saying, it is fine. Financially, I'm taken care of for the rest of my life. I could stop right now. So now it's just about getting better at the game, getting more properties, and then just more of a healthy, free lifestyle. Yeah. So for example, to get real into it, with the private lending, we're making $20,000 a month, totally passive, right? The goal for me is $100,000 a month, totally passive. Okay. So once I get to that point, that's when I'm gonna pull off the gas pedal. I say that, but we'll see. You won't. Exactly. Realistically, you won't. Yeah. Okay, so 20K, and that's another thing we should unpack a bit more. Is 17% is definitely high. Yeah. Normally through a mortgage broker, people aren't paying as much, but of course you pay legal fees and broker fees and all that stuff. How are you managing 17% when other people aren't getting that? Yeah, it's just people that I know personally. So investors that I know who are flippers like me, they need money. They don't want to jump through the hoops and go to the mortgage broker and all that crap. So I'll give them the money for 100% of the value or more because I trust them. I know them.
Oh, okay. So it's just a quick deal. Okay,
quick
here
deal,
it is.
yeah. Just or like wire transfer from the bank. No, that's it. It's simple as that. So,
okay, so it's basically a trust thing.
Yeah.
They don't have to deal with the fees. Do you set like a minimum term for them? How long they're going to borrow the money?
No minimum term. It's usually like a 6-month expectation. The contracts usually are always 6 months. And then if I need the money like 2 months beforehand, I'll be like, hey, I need that money back for whatever. But it's usually a 6 month. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys just kind of have a loose, this is roughly what you need. This is roughly what I need.
Exactly,
and it works out. All right. So are you looking beyond this? I know you talked about getting to 100K. You're at 20K now.
Yeah.
How many properties still holding?
Right now, like 22, something like that.
22, like to hold for rentals, and those are all JV'd.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you looking like what's the next step for growth? Because obviously, I think you were seeing a lot of the same thing I was seeing. Is that it's a lot harder to make a BRRRR work.
Yes.
A lot harder to make cash flow happen.
Yeah.
You're leaving a lot of money in these BRRRRs. What's next?
Yeah. So time will tell with the real estate market in the sense. Right now, obviously, we're at the boom we're in a boom market. Whether we're at the top of the boom or the start or the end, I don't know, right? Nobody really knows, but we're definitely in a boom phase. So we know we kind of what's coming down the horizon later, historically.
Yeah.
So right now, when the getting's good, I'm just going to keep flipping, keep doing that. And then when the market dips and goes back and the pendulum swings, maybe I'll do more buy and holds at that point, right? That may be 3-4 years down the line from now. I don't know. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, I'm building the flipping business, and you can do well with flips in any stage of the real estate cycle.
Market.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I don't love about flips is if you happen to be, if it drops off really quick, and you're stuck with them and they don't cash flow, then you might find yourself holding a little bit of real estate you don't want to be holding.
Yeah. So the thing we do is just we have to get deals, man. So that's why we're getting off-market deals way under market. So if there is a correction that happens in like 3 months, and we're also doing flips that are 2 to 3 months maximum. 3 months is a maximum reno time I will do. So we're usually banging these out, honestly, in 30, 60 days. So the odds of the market just like totally changing in 30, 60 days.
Usually you have a signal before it just falls apart.
Yeah, very unlikely. And then we're also buying such low that even if there is like a huge change, we'll just net, I guess, break even, like worst case.
So so this is what I want to press on, because there's always like good investors always have that backup plan, or maybe 2 backup plans, which it seems like you do. I know you've told me this before, but as a recap, what's a good deal to you when you're looking for a flip?
Yeah, so the way we buy, like our metrics is after repair value times 80% minus renovations. That equals the purchase price.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we can break that, I'm trying to like verbally do it. I need pen and paper in front of me, but
we can go through an example of that.
A quick example, I know off the top of my head because we do so many of these, is if the after repair value in a kitchen or property is going to be $600,000 when I'm done with it, I have. And it's like an $80,000 renovation, which is the average, reno we do for single families. I have to buy that house at $410,000.
Okay.
So yeah, and that $410,000 house will probably be worth on the market $500,000 as is.
Okay.
So if I'm buying it at $410,000, it's worth $500,000, and there is a recession, the odds of me losing money is very unlikely.
Oh yeah, you're in a pretty advantageous position at that point. Now, the obvious question that anybody has is how the heck are you finding it when things are so hot and you're in the Kitchener market?
Yes.
Which is definitely hot.
Yes.
so how are you doing that, which so many other people are struggling to do?
For sure. It's just so much money in marketing to find these motivated sellers, and that's kind of the secret with wholesaling or flipping in general, is you just have to spend like so much money. And especially now with so many people are getting into wholesaling, like it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So like my strategy, literally, I don't know if I should even say this, but it's just literally like I'll outspend you. That's it.
Outspend.
Yeah. That's the strategy for my area.
And is it outspend in physical mail, or is it outspend doing multiple strategies?
Yeah, can't say too much now.
I get that. Yeah,
it's physical mail, online ads, Facebook ads. We do everything.
Yeah, you're just doing everything. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you don't mind me asking, what ballpark is outspend right now? You don't have to say it if you don't want to. I'm just trying to get a gauge of what it costs to put a business together like this.
Yeah, so if you want to really do it like the way we're doing it, and we're just starting, man. Like I know guys who are just crushing what we're doing, but like we're spending $20,000 a month in marketing.
$20,000.
That's what it takes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that gets you how many deals in your current model? And of course, there's so much more to it than just spend.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. But we get about 2 to 3 deals a month.
2 to 3 deals a month out of that. But I mean, if one deal's 80K below market, then it paid for itself 4 times over.
The average flip profit we're making right now anyway is about 50 to 60K per flip.
And are you using your own money to do that, or
none?
So you're JVing. Why not take some of the money from the private lending and use it for that? Because obviously the return's much higher than giving up half of your return on a purchase like that.
It's no fun, man. It's no
fun. So it's more of an emotional connection kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's just right because I need so much money because we're doing like $1 million, $1.5 million a month in buying and renovating. So it's just easier to raise that, and we raise it so quick. With everybody we have lined up who wants to be part of our business and lend to us, the money's like totally there. So it keeps the machine going faster. If I had to use my money, I'd have to think about it. Okay, well, I got 500 grand. I only got 300 more because I bought this one. Just raise it all, man. And then I put all my money to work passively.
Yeah, and that keeps going. That makes a lot of sense. I actually do something similar. Like I like to leave my money's for me. Like that's for running my business. I don't want to have to take away from that. I want to keep that separate. So now before, when you were talking about this, you said everything had come from YouTube.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
Definitely still the case. Yeah.
All so my partners, every single partner has reached
every single partner come from YouTube. Every single one. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And same with our money lenders, like our private lenders for our flips. They all were like, hey, I saw you on YouTube. I want to lend to you. Let me know.
Oh, is that how they're happening? So those are not JVs. They're private lending.
Yeah. So for the flips, we do private money. So I borrow private money from other people, and 13, 12%, whatever. And then and then we do the flips that way. So
that's awesome. Okay, so is that typically when you're doing it like that? Is that typically just a similar deal to what you're doing? Like
exact same thing. Yeah, exact same thing.
No secured mortgages. It's more just a promissory note, piece of paper, and do a deal. Yeah, that is like the lifeblood of a flipping business.
100%. Yeah.
100%. I'm 100% on board with you, and I've done it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
That's the way I definitely like to do it, because then and especially when you can raise so much, you look at a project and you say, well, yeah, I could do that. It's 2 phone calls.
100%. Like it used to be so much like, oh, I don't know if I can raise it. And that's a lot of the problems, most flippers have is I don't know if I can raise the money. I got to do a conditional offer with the seller, which in this market is like way too hot. The sellers aren't stupid. Like they want a firm offer. So I can go in there and be like, yep, I'll buy your house now. And if it closes next week, no problem. I'll make one phone call and buy it. So that's kind of the advantage we have over other local flippers in our area.
Okay. So let's walk through that process a little bit. When you're going into, well, first off, does the phone call come to you, or do you have somebody taking those phone calls?
So we have an acquisition manager, another person I forgot about that's on our team. So they take all the phone calls. I don't do anything anymore. So like example, yesterday we just bought a house in Brantford, never saw it, never went to it, never answered the phone. This guy did it all.
So how does he know what to look for, and then what you're going to want? Do you provide him with the comps, and then he just says, this is what this is, this is what it has?
Yeah, he's got access to my system. I don't know if you should even say that, but he's got access to my system because I'm a realtor. So he does all the comps. He makes sure it's a good deal. He knows renovations. He's also an investor. He gets it. And he just does everything.
What's in it for him? Full-time employee or commission? Or
Commission-based. So the better the deal he gets, the more money he gets paid. If it's an okay deal, he gets an okay
How the heck do you think of all this stuff?
I just ask other people. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And people, I just piece it together.
Yeah. And your wife's obviously in the business with you. You guys push
full-time,
You guys push each other?
Yeah, totally. I push her a lot more. No, I'm kidding.
You get in trouble for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually, that's awesome. Okay. So you have somebody come in as an acquisition manager. Tell me, like, obviously you've trained him, you've worked with him. What's the typical process when he's going in and trying to close a deal?
Yeah, it's just being friendly and just trying to solve the seller's problem. Like there's all these things you can learn and all these mirroring tricks and like, you know what I mean? All these salesman tricks. When it really comes down to it, it's just, can you solve the seller's problem and think of something to help them? And can you close the deal right now?
What kind of problems are you typically encountering? Like what's the motivating factor?
Biggest one is the house is in a mess usually. Like the one yesterday, I should show you the video. It's like Gong Show hoarder house. Yeah. Those are the houses we're buying. They can't sell them on the MLS. Even now in this hot market, like you can't sell that house on the MLS. It's just way too much stuff. They're embarrassed, which is the biggest thing. They don't want people walking through their house, seeing all this stuff, judging them. So they just want an easy cash deal right now. And the biggest thing is they want to leave all that shit behind. All the stuff stacked to the ceiling. They want to just walk away from the house.
They just walk away from all their stuff?
Yeah. So the deal, like almost every day we buy, we put a clause in there saying like, you can leave all your shit. I'll say that. No,
put shit.
Yeah. So they love that. So if we can close the house now, we'll move the closing day whenever you want, because we don't care when it closes. So if they agree on March 23rd, right now it's January 11th or whatever, you know, and it comes 2 weeks before that and they're like, Matt, I need more time. Like I haven't found a house. No problem. Let's push it to May 12th. I don't care.
Oh, so you
that
just work
flexibility that like you can't get that with a realtor ever. So
yeah, it's a big one. One of the ones I bought was just like that. This lady had already bought another house. I'm like, no one's going to come up with this date for you. Like, you know, I'm like, there's a lot of other reasons this is a good deal, but realistically, that's a risk. Yeah. So you know what? I'll give you that exact date. You got your money. You don't need to worry about it.
Exactly.
And that was like done deal.
Yeah.
So, and I think she sold it for like about $160,000 under what she would have got if she'd gone on the market. So there, when you can solve the problem exactly like that, right?
Yeah.
So your guy, when he goes in, he's just kind of trying to be a little bit friendly, get a feel. Are you trying to sign a deal that day?
Yes, 100%.
And how do you do that? Because you have to have all the legal information. So you're going ahead assuming you're going to get this.
100%, yeah.
So to get your 2 to 3 properties a month, how many properties are you actually going to see?
About 10, 20 per month.
10 to 20?
Yeah.
So every single one you try, and some of them are, you just can't solve the problem. And
exactly. Or they just want too much. They just, they have realistic expectations for like a retail price, but unrealistic for what we need.
Would you tell them that? Like,
100%.
oh, hey, this is totally, I know you said disclose, right?
Yeah.
You have to as a realtor.
Well, yeah, because I'm a realtor. Like I have to tell them like, you will make more money if you sell with a realtor. And that's kind of the strategy we do. It's like, we'll just be straight up. Like you will make more money doing this. So we're not people, and then I don't know if I can swear on here.
I could beep it out.
Okay, so that's just a really friendly approach. They start to trust you because like, what this is option A, this is option B, right?
Yeah, will you list it for them if they?
100%.
Yeah, so you got a backdoor there.
We got the whole brokerage kind of agency approach, which is we're just started that now because we tried to do the walking in with the sweatpants on and you know just being a guy who's going to buy a house. I did that for a long time, and then we just recently switched the whole thing. Let's have branding, let's have t-shirts, let's have a whole company approach, and it's killing.
Yeah, I think so. It creates more trust, as you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you started up a brand for your buying business, and that's separate from what you sell at the end of the day. What you sell at the end of the day is just on the MLS, is that right?
Yeah, on the MLS. I listed. I'm a realtor, obviously, so yeah.
Yeah, so you're real busy doing a lot of transactions. Do you pay yourself a commission on that, or you just...
No, just zero, because, well, it doesn't really matter now, because as a realtor, like 5 months ago, you were making personal income. So 50% tax rate, right? Yeah. Just recently, realtors finally got the ability to incorporate. Yeah. So I was putting all the money into the corporation, which is my flipping business. So I was taking no commission, because why would I pay 50% on the commission? I can just stick all of that profit into the corp and pay 15%. Yeah. So, but now I'm incorporated, it doesn't really matter, but I still just, all the money goes over there.
All into the corp?
It's just easier for taxes.
Okay, so when you're applying for a mortgage, your main source of income is from your flipping business.
Yes.
That's really where the qualifications come.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you do something similar to me, where you only pay yourself dividends that you need.
100%.
And everything else you just
the
leave.
bare minimum, man. 50 grand a year is what I need. The rest is in the corp.
Well, you gotta have enough to go to Hawaii a few times and do all that. Yeah. So, okay, so let's... what else can we dig into here? You do so much and you explain it so quickly, as you know. You always have short interviews, but we're going to draw this out.
For sure, man. I'm good.
Okay, so let's dig into the situation, what's happening now, and how it's affected you. So with the lockdowns, with the kind of current state of things, how has that affected your business model?
Yeah, it was just more like we're freaked out in like March and April, like what's going to happen? Is it going to, is the whole world going to fall over? But yeah, I just kept plugging forward. I said, once I started to see that this isn't really a big deal. Can I say that?
You can.
It's a bunch of crap. So I knew the market was going to be fine. So we just kept tripling down, actually, when people were running. Yeah. And then because I started the flipping business like right when that happened. It was like just starting it, like the marketing business, and to get motivated sellers. We just started that in February, March of last year. So I just kept tripling down, and it's working. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of showings and stuff, are you still going in, or are more people doing videos? Like, what's happening on that?
So me as a realtor, like nothing's changed in my life at all. It's like business wise, or even my life, like nothing's changed, which is great. We're still doing the exact same thing I was doing in January of last year, before this all happened. Same thing. Yeah. Just a little weirder. I got to wear a mask sometimes and like whatever.
Yeah. So your guy that handles your buyer acquisitions, is he still going in, or more? So these sellers don't ever want to just send you a video? Do you get them to do that?
We get a couple of them, like if it's like an hour away from Kitchener-Waterloo area, we might ask them, can you just send us a video to see if we'll even go, type of thing. But we go to every single house. And we
every time you get a call, it doesn't matter. You're going to see it.
So we pre-qualify all these leads too on the phone with a very in-depth kind of questionnaire that's set up, that's like geniusly set up, just to see if they're actually motivated. If they pass the test kind of thing, and they're actually motivated, and we can get a deal going on here, then we'll go to the house. And yeah, we'll go every time, 100%.
What would qualify as a motivated person? Like, what do you need to hear to feel that they're motivated?
We'll kind of just ask them like, what do you, at the very end, we'll ask them like, what do you want? Basically, like, what's the price? And if they're like $1 million, then like, obviously we're not going to go. But if they're like, you know, if it's a reasonable price that they say, number one, cool, we'll entertain it. If they say a ridiculous price, which is most of the time, we'll say like, how did you come to that? Oh, my neighbor sold for this, like, or whatever, right? And then we'll just say, well, you know, we don't pay retail. We pay a little lower, but the transaction is going to be way easier. Are you willing to entertain that offer? If they say yes, then we'll go.
Oh, if so we don't pay retail.
Yeah, straight up. I just tell them like, we're not paying what you think you're going to get. Like, we're just not going to do that.
But how long into the call would that actually come up? Like, everything before then is,
just
you know, why are you selling?
Yeah.
Like, where, you know, tell me what you've done to the house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So once they've gone through all that, then you ask them what they want.
Exactly.
Now, hopefully before that, they've given you some sort of qualitative reason why they're selling.
They will,
like somebody in the family got ill, we need out. Or I feel like, I don't know how honest they are. Like when I've had those conversations, it's hard to tell if they've been fully transparent sometimes.
That's true.
So how do you know if they've given you the real reason or not?
Yeah, you can kind of just hopefully tell in their voice if they're telling the truth or not. But if they're just like, I don't know, I'm just interested in seeing what the price would be. It's like, okay, this isn't going to work, right?
So do you just try and end that call?
Or we just spin it to the realtor on our team. Like, well, it sounds like you want retail. Is that right? Oh, yeah. I want full price for the house. Okay, well, let's get Brenda in there.
Man, having the realtor card there too is amazing because that actually allows you to profit even when you can't.
Exactly. Pays for the marketing, at least. Pays for the marketing.
I mean, I've done it where I've like referred other realtors and like they don't want a realtor half the time. But if you're already talking to them, you've already come and seen it, and you can actually say, hey, I can list it for this, make it real easy. Do you really want to go through this? Yeah. I think that's such an advantage.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most wholesalers don't even think about that aspect. It's just like, can I get a deal? No, I can't. Okay, next. It's like, you just lost something.
Because I mean, hypothetically, if they want to get like $500,000, there's at least 10, 15 grand of commission there to be had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So the rule or the moral of the story is go become a realtor.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, a lot of people are like, don't ever become a realtor if you're going to be a wholesaler. Dude, it's helped me so much. So much. Because
in my mind, there's no real value in trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes anyway. Because they're going to know you're not being honest with them.
Yeah, and especially right now, like in this market, like 99% of sellers know this market is insane. So if you're going to try and bullshit them and be like, oh, I'm going to buy this house for $100,000 in Kitchener, they'll be like, get out of here. Like,
yeah, did you know your house is only worth $100,000? Yeah. Well, and it's not really a nice thing to do. You get a bad reputation if you do stuff like that. So
and it just makes the wholesaling
it gives it a bad name,
way
right?
worse.
Which is
people are doing that, like 100%, like
lying to the people.
Oh, 100%. Their deals are like, how the hell did you even get that? Like, you totally screwed them. So we won't get into that.
unless of course they didn't ask and you just said, hey, I can give you this. Oh, that's good. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? If that's a win-win, that works out okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about this future, obviously like Ontario's locking down more at this point in time. I know you like to travel.
Yeah.
Is there a scenario where you move your business out of the country? Yes. How have you set yourself up to pivot if you need to?
Yeah, I set myself up with the private lending. That's the main reason why I started the private lending business, was like building my escape. So like this is the last winter I spend in Ontario for at least the full winter. Like next year, December, or whatever, we're not spending the full winter in Canada, not even close. So and ideally none of it. So that's the reason why I'm building this private lending business, is the 20 grand by then, maybe 30, 40 grand a month. And it's just, I'm out of here, man. Like I can just shut it down if I want to.
Yeah. And hypothetically, you could take that money into the US, you could take it into another country and do something similar, or continue earning the money back here.
Yeah. Or maybe I flip houses in Florida. I don't know. I thought about it. Like, why not? Why do I have to stay here?
It's on my radar right now. Flip houses in Florida. You can get an investor visa to do that.
That's amazing. Tell me more.
Well, okay. So I did speak with somebody on this, and he told me basically for 200 grand US, my wife and I could go down. Yeah. And that, I mean, obviously you'd inject more than that. And then you have to basically be active. Now, don't quote me on this. Obviously speak to somebody, but if you're active, basically you can apply for an L visa, I think it's called. Okay. And then from there you can apply within a year for a more permanent visa, a visa that would get you residency.
So the 200 grand, is it just investing in something, or is it just paying the government like a fee?
So basically what he told me is I would go down, I would have to set up my corp, So I have to talk to my accountant first, set up my corp, and put the money in, and actually buy something, and then apply. So, and then the caveat is I got to go leave the U.S. and then they prepare like the business plan, your application, and then when you go to the border, you basically present it, and then they approve it right on the spot. That's what he told me. So we're just kind of initiating this process because this is definitely something for us. Like we just see a huge value, especially with the way Ontario's going right now, whereas Florida's wide open.
Dude, it's like there is no talking about. Florida's wicked.
I mean, like, how is that happening, right? Like in a state where it's so elderly that I mean, things are not off the charts. They're doing better than New York, doing better than California, better than Illinois. Yet they're not closed down. They don't social distance. They don't have mask requirements. And like Jacob Perez is down there now. He's like going to restaurants. Everybody's just chilling.
I know.
It's
I have
normal
a bunch
life.
of friends right now in Florida doing Instagrams. And there's nothing. It's just normal life.
It's like live an actual life. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, we have this.
It's unbelievable, honestly.
So what do you realistically see happening for you in the next year then?
Yeah, I'm just building this out and just taking it one day at a time, kind of with like the flipping business. But I know like within a year to 2 years, like we're not staying in Canada. Okay. Even if this goes away, like we're not staying in Canada because I just don't like winter.
Yeah, like, and I've said the same. I've said the same to my wife. I'm like, she doesn't really want to be in Florida long term, but I don't want to be in cold weather in the winter. Yeah. I mean, I'll come to go skiing, but after that, I want out.
Like I've been building this escape for like 5 years. Like pre-corona, I knew I didn't want to stay in Canada. So and now it's like even way more.
So here's a good question for you. If you were to start over from scratch, say something happened and you had absolutely nothing except what you know, which is obviously quite a bit. What would you do to start from scratch right here, right now, where you are in Ontario?
I'll just go back to the basics of what I did and just hammer social media.
So you'd start on social media talking about what real estate investing is
and
how it works. And then people reach out to you, you offer to JV.
That's it.
And then, so you'd build up your base again and then work your way back into the private lending.
Back to the top. That's basically it. It's all about branding. Like nowadays with, social media, people, even pre-corona, they don't want to go out to meetings anymore. They don't want to leave the house, right? We're becoming more of like a hermit culture, I guess. So people want to sit in their home in the comfort and watch and learn and read books and whatever, right? So if you can get into their house on their laptop or whatever on YouTube teaching them, like that's the future of business in general, not just real estate investing. But I saw that trend in 2012, like when I started this, I saw the trend going that way. At that time I was 22 years old or whatever, 20 years old. So I was young. I was like in, to social media. I saw what was coming and it was just all hermit culture in a sense. So no one's going out anymore. No one's wearing the suit and doing the tricks and want to hear my investing pitch and here's my portfolio. People don't give a shit about that anymore.
You're talking about like for investor presentations. Yeah. Agreed. Yes.
Just business in general, like just getting clients and getting like, it's just changing. And especially now that we're in 2021, like it's just totally different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially now, no one wants to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, me and the podcast, I want to shoot it in person, but
that's how we do it, man.
It's just so much better, right?
100%, way better.
You get to connect with people better when you do that. So, tell me more about like what's going on with the YouTube business. Are you still doing? I think you were doing like 3 a week or so. Something in that ballpark. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. So we do 2 or 3 videos every single week, and then since 2012 when I started this, it was all about joint venture attraction. Like the whole purpose of the YouTube channel was just like building authority, attracting real money partners, not making money off YouTube, like making real money off of YouTube. That's where the real money is. And then, but now we're switching the focus to building the subscriber base, the brand, stuff like that. So
you actually do want to monetize direct on YouTube?
Because I'm at the point where like I have the partners that I'll ever need. I have more money than I could ever raise for. I did it. I got that. Now it's time to build the clout.
Okay. So I'll ask you about the lenders in a second. But regarding YouTube, like you monetized it a long time ago, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What, like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much money can a person make from an active YouTube channel like
minimal,
yours?
Man, especially in the real estate.
Comparatively, it's not much, right?
Yeah, like in the real estate category, like every category makes whatever. Like real estate's like a low category for money making. But anyway, I think we make like $400 a month or something like that on our YouTube channel. But again, the real money is getting people off of YouTube.
Well, that's where it is, right?
And then for us now, it's like coaching or course sales. Like you make way more money off of that than YouTube money.
Yeah, you just made a course, didn't you?
Yeah, so we have a couple. We have like the social media course that teach you how I do social media and branding and whatever. I teach you everything, how to do that. We have the renovations course where like if you want to renovate your properties like mine, you can get every single product I buy, where to buy it. So you get that. And then now we're making the private lending course coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And do you sell these courses, the seats in these courses, before you finish them?
No. So I just launch it when it's done. Yeah.
So you just go ahead knowing that there's a demand for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And what gives you that confidence to know there's demand for it?
We just do it, man. I ask people generally on Instagram. So I'll do like a soft launch first. Like, hey, if I made a private lending course, would people want to buy it? It's like, yes. So like, okay, cool. I'll make it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What do you charge typically for something like that?
That course will be $247.
Okay. Yeah. So it's very attainable.
Yeah, it's low. Like all my courses are low. They're $500 and under for like all my courses. Yeah. So.
And something like that, how many people are going to buy a course like that from you?
Per year, I don't know, 40 to 50.
You'll sell 40 to 50 courses a year.
Yeah.
That's not bad. And that just keeps going, right? So they just keep working for you?
Yeah. Just more passive income, really. Yeah.
You're the master of passive income, man.
I'm trying, man.
Yeah. No, but that's where it's all at. And that's why I got into this business, is I wanted to create passive. I do too much active right now, which I would prefer to be able to not do that.
Yeah, so do I, man. I got all these employees and I'm still doing too much, but I'm fine.
Well, you're pulling the strings at the top, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you also have a lot of flexibility. Like if you wanted to scale it down into nothing, you could do it pretty quick.
For sure.
Aside from selling the properties, you probably would just still hang on to them, but you have management in place.
Yeah, we got property management. I don't deal with any of those either. So
yeah.
So
what's your day-to-day look like then?
Yeah. So now it's just about getting our new acquisition guy set up. He's pretty much all set up now. So the focus is switching to building more social media. It's like I want to spend more time with my video guy, doing even more videos, more presentations whenever we can get back to regular life. That'd be nice. Yeah. That was the plan. So just building the brand and having more fun, doing fun video stuff like this. Like I don't want to be calling contractors and yelling at them. I have somebody else doing that now. So
yeah, I have my guy on site that handles all that. So I'm minimally involved in that kind of thing. But yeah, that's where a source of a lot of headaches can be.
If you get rid of that, that's the biggest one. Like that was a life changer for me, was hiring our project manager. And she's absolutely incredible.
She sources all the subs. Yep. Well, you probably work with the same ones repeatedly.
Yeah, same guys over and over again. Yeah. And now she's been with me for like a year and a half. Like she's got the system down pat. She knows everybody, etc. Yeah. But yeah, like when we buy a project, I go at the very beginning only to shoot a video walkthrough for the purpose
this is the new one.
For the purpose of JV attraction. Yeah. So I go shoot a video. That's it. And then I don't go back to the very, very end. When it's all done and pretty and staged and clean, I'll go back and shoot the last video. And that's when I see it all done.
So your project manager, does she handle paying everybody?
Yep. Everything. Yeah.
So there's a certain level of trust that's there to have access
to my bank account. Yeah. All that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that I just haven't had luck in relinquishing control of. Yeah. How did you find yourself to come to that point with different people, like to be able to trust them?
I just kind of did it. Like I just knew, like with my gut, like when I meet people, I just know with my gut if they're going to screw me or not. Because every time I've been screwed by contractors or whatever, I always knew it at the beginning. Like this,
you had a gut feel on them, right?
This guy's going to screw me, maybe, but I'm too in a hurry. I got to get this flooring job done, job done, right? So and then they screwed me. So, but anyway, so I knew with her, she was a great person. I just trusted her, and like I gave her access to my bank account like in the first week of her coming on. I just knew it, and I just had to, man. Like even if she stole $1,000 or like whatever from me, like
how much, like what did you mitigate your downside with her? Like,
well, I check my bank account like every day because like any obsessed investor.
So you're saying, realistically, like there are limits on how much can be paid out, except for a check, like if you're a check to herself or something.
Yeah, true. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't think of that.
But I'll have like the record online, like I can sue her, but like I'd rather not go through that process. But so I just knew she would never do that, and I just did it, man. Like I need this outsourced. I just need it. So. Do it. I'm going to hold my, pray that you don't screw me. And if you do, I'll deal with it then.
Yeah. So for someone like such as myself, like I'm looking for more good help in that kind of capacity. Where do you go and what's your process to find good help?
Yeah, I just do kind of referral based, like who knows who. And then how I hired like everybody is my Instagram. I'll just do a shout out. I need a project manager, do a video resume. Video resume is what I always do for all positions before they even apply or like before I meet them. I want them to send me a video. That's screening, number one. So they do a video, they're hardworking, most likely. And then I can tell their personality base from the video. I can just kind of tell like, you're not going to mesh well, or like, you will. And then I'll meet you. So that's kind of my process for hiring. It's just social media, man. Like
So everything is through there.
Yeah.
I think Instagram, you're like 10,000 followers? Or
somewhere around there. 10, 12, something like that.
And that's enough traction. You can. And what do you find the motivation of the people that are coming to you? Like just various different types of drives. They like real estate.
Yeah, I like real estate. And then again, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but like because we've built such a great brand, when I do like a job posting, people want to be like, when they apply, they're like, I want to be on the Fruitful team. Like, please hire me. I want to be part of this. So I'm getting a different caliber of person. And the people that would screw me, they're like, I'm not going to go over there because he's intense. Like, I'm not going to even try. So that's kind of what I think is going on, which is,
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I think you're right. Like the brand is a big thing. I think I need to embrace that a bit more. Like, cause I know I've built the brand around the podcast and stuff, and I've, again, still hold on to control, and it caps growth for sure.
Yeah.
But some obviously ones are like an admin assistant, somebody who can handle the books and stuff.
The
like
emails, that's a big one too.
Oh my God,
dude.
somebody in my email inbox would be absolutely amazing.
You need that tomorrow. Like that's what you got to do is get someone to your email.
So even your Mat email address is
my project manager does all my emails, sends out all the realtor listings, finds the property. She's my realtor assistant and project manager assistant. So she's running full time. But like, dude, those two hires were like, I was like, what do I do now?
So your video and your project management were your biggest two,
100%,
like free your time now, and now you can think bigger picture.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Now I'm thinking about like making courses, or, I've got some other big plans coming up. So like I'm thinking about, I have time to think about those and building the business while the minions, they're not minions, but
the minions.
Yeah, they're like amazing minions, I guess.
Yeah.
They're taking care of the day-to-day stuff, which is fantastic. Yeah. And I pay them super well. That's the other thing. Like I pay them very well. Like way above average.
Way above average?
Yeah, God, yeah. It has to be.
So your monthly payroll, like, are you you're probably like...
Yeah, for the 2 employees, it's like 10 grand a month.
10 grand for the 2?
For the 2,
okay. If it's profitable for you, I mean, it basically buys you back your life, right? So, so your private lending covers that. So then you've basically freed your time. Yeah. And you're still cash flowing.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Like, that's why I love the private lending so much. Because like that private lending pretty much pays for the entire marketing business of the deal attracting for the private deals, and then it also pays my employees. So like anything I make after
is just gravy.
Is just in my pocket. Realtor income, flipping income, course sales, coaching. It's just pocket. So it's fantastic. That's why I love private lending.
That's a brilliant way of thinking about it.
And when you have like passive income that pays for your business expenses every month, and then everything after that is net zero, like that's a game changer because mentally. Because you're just like, if I make $1,
then you eliminate fear, right?
That's exactly.
I remember when I started in the mortgage business, I was like so stressed because I had like no money. And I remember speaking with my mother-in-law now, like she wasn't my mother-in-law then, but she basically just said, okay, stop spending anything and don't worry about anything. You will make money. And she's like, you can't be afraid here. Like, and that stuck with me. And I remember reading Napoleon Hill, same thing. You know, you can't succeed if you're worried about losing. Yeah.
So and it's easy to, because I'm the same way. Like it's easy to tell people like, oh, you got to spend 10 grand a month. But if you don't have it, you're like, I get it logically, but like I don't have it, man. So it's it just takes a little bit. Even now, I still like when I see my payroll, I'm like, oh man. But like I know logically it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's easy to tell someone like you got to spend 10 grand a month when they make 30 grand a year at their job to make, flyers, to send out flyers every month to get.
Yeah. Most people don't have the stomach.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I get it totally. Like it makes sense. You have a life, you have kids, you have a mortgage. Like you can't just be spending 10 grand every month and not getting deals. You'll go bankrupt in 3 months. Yeah. So yeah, I get it, but you also got to spend.
Yeah, so I'm on the same page with you. I guess the thing I think bridges that is those little successes. Like if you have a little success you built, and I think for you it wasn't 0 to $100 all at once. Oh yeah, you had the vision, but you started with a small. Okay, this works. Yeah. So now if I scale this reasonably, it should continue to work.
Exactly.
So how do you recommend people get a few small successes to help them? Like if somebody's new or starting, like how do they get the small successes that are going to lead to them feeling comfortable growing?
You have to work like 14 to 16 hours a day, like straight up. Like I wished that wasn't the case. And like I was preached like a fruitful lifestyle and healthy, but like at the beginning, man, like you have to work harder than you've ever worked before. Yeah. And that's just been my secret. Like there is no secret. Like I'll outwork you, and then nowadays I'll outspend you. Like that's it, man. Like just domination. Yeah. That's what it takes to be financially free, to be awesome. Like there's no tricks, or you can learn and read your books and talk to the seller this way, say this thing at this time. Like you can spend time just doing that shit and just wasting time, or just do it, man. Like that's the problem. People just don't do it. They just spend time reading. And
so somebody getting started, what kind of work are you going to send them off to do?
Depends what their goals are. Are they looking for JV, buy and hold? Are they looking to build a flip business?
Yeah, I get people reaching out to me. They're like, well, Andrew, what do you recommend? Should I start a wholesaling business, or should I, flip properties? Yeah. Well, and my response is always, what are your goals? But say somebody, if you don't know anything, like how are you going to learn and overcome?
I guess like generally, if someone's starting off, the general thing I would say is you should never wholesale or flip at the beginning, ever. Like you're not ready, not even close. So you need to do the buy and hold stuff. So figure that out and build your wealth, the real money with the buy and holds. Do that for a couple of years. Make your mistakes over there. Because if you make a mistake renovating a buy and hold, big deal. You overspent a little, you overpaid a little, just hold it 3 more years, you'll be rich, trust me. So you can make your mistakes. If you do those mistakes on a flip, you're done.
You lose money.
Yeah. If it's your first flip, your net worth is 0 or negative 30,000, you have student debts or like whatever. Yeah. And then you lose another 30,000 on a flip, you're not doing real estate ever again. You're going to say, see, I knew it didn't work, and you're never going to do it again.
Yeah, you're going to have that confirmation of your own failure. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, just talking about the things that'll get people out of the business really fast, and failing early is one of them. Yeah,
and like it seems so sexy, right? Like flipping. Like I see on HGTV, it looks so easy. They do it in half an hour. It's easy, right? It's like literally the hardest thing.
I would agree. Like that's why I was always so impressed with what you were doing, because finding basic flips, like I was flipping like student rentals, and I had a very specific buyer, and I was selling above market at the end. But without that, like to go in and to be able to do it successfully, like you're doing it, requires an exceptional amount of skill, especially on the buy side. Especially being able to buy them low, knowing exactly what your renovations cost. Like, do you mind just kind of like running me through like a couple of typical prices, like what you're like the one you showed on an Instagram video today? I think you showed just like a bungalow. The guy's going to move into the top. And then they're going to convert the basement. You're figuring 80 grand. So the first thing I want to say is like the wholesaling. There's this kick right now online, like all across North America. Like wholesaling is so easy. It's so easy. Just like do it from your laptop. I'll just say one thing. Wholesaling or like finding motivated sellers is literally the hardest thing out of anything I've done in real estate. Is the hardest and most skillful thing. So it's not easy. So you should do that in year 7 or 8 or 9 of being an investor. Don't do it on year 1. Going back to this one now. So the typical deal for that one you mentioned for the duplex where they're moving in. Typical duplexes right now, or single family that we're going to turn to a duplex, we're buying them around 560, somewhere around there. And then they're putting in 140,000 in renos to make it look fruitful style and all legalized. And then they're appraising around 730 to 750. 730. Which is tight. That's a tight. It used to be way better than that. But so you're getting about 40,000 of equity kind of on day one. It used to be like 100 grand. So the full refi is not happening in Kitchener. No, and it's not happening in most places. Exactly. Unless you buy like what you're showing, you buy something that's worth five and change for 410 or whatever it is. Then you have the chance to do that. But you have to do something to create that. Needle in the haystack too. Well, and that's what I've been saying. Like, you've preached stick to a market for so long, and now your market's become somewhat prohibitive. Is it time to look elsewhere? Are you okay to look elsewhere or no? I'm okay to do it. Like we're, especially now with our flipping business, I'm expanding it to like an hour radius, which people are like, whoa, you're leaving Kitchener? I'm like, I have to. But for me to like go to Florida, like those are all things I might do. But right now, we can still crush it in my area for sure. You can always crush it if you get an under market value deal. And there's always people willing to sell. Well, and now you have the system set up. But I mean, if it's somebody new, is that necessarily the right move? Like I've talked to a lot on this podcast about kind of expanding your area of search. You don't need to invest in multiple places, but find a place that you like. Exactly. That you're not looking for a needle in a haystack. There are deals there. It's easier to succeed because, again, if you fail early, you're less likely to continue. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're like in Ontario and you're starting off, go to Nova Scotia or Edmonton. Right, like that, those way lower price entries. New Brunswick, good market. New Brunswick, nice market for cash flow. Still, like I know a lot of people all of a sudden going out east to flip and do buy and hold. So it's like, maybe you should do that. I guess like, a lot of people in Northern Ontario, Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie. Great. I just don't want to go to the cold place. It sounds cold. As soon as we're going north, I'm not interested. Exactly. I'd rather flip south, man. Cool. That sounds way better. I mean, I truthfully don't want to deal with another country, but at the same time, like it's something I'm ready to consider because Canada doesn't have any warm locations. It sucks. If we bought Turks and Caicos they were gonna acquire at one point, that never happened. All right, Matt. So, last piece of advice, one overarching thing kind of on your mind right now as the golden nugget in real estate investing that you would like to share with our audience, what would you say? Put your nose down and just work insanely hard. That's what it takes. There's no gimmick or trick, or you can do the social media stuff. Like I can teach you how to do all that stuff and it's great, but you need to work like you've never worked before if you want passive lifestyle. And I couldn't agree more. I think early on, a lot of people asked me, is it possible to invest cross country and be successful? I'm like, of course it is. But you would need to invest significant time in that market to know it. Like an insane amount of time. Yeah, insane. Like an unreasonable amount while you're working a full-time job. Unreasonable. I like that. That's like one of my things. Like you need to be unreasonable. Like people understand like how obsessed
I am, or like you are, like I know like top level guys, like I know how we think. You need to be like disgustingly obsessed
at first, right? You can back off once you've got your systems, but to get your systems, like, man, I've told this story many times. I slept on the floor in the property, like I rolled up the air mattress as I hear workers arriving at the site. I'm like, oh, hey guys, what's up?
I'm walking out. That's what it takes, man. Like honestly, people aren't willing to do it. They're just not willing.
Yeah, well, especially like get kids, get married. Like once you do that, a lot of people don't want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all had a breaking point.
Exactly.
And when you hit it, then you're willing to do things you weren't willing to do before. So
100%. You need to hit that rock bottom, I guess, before you just kick into gear.
Yeah. Where should we send people if they want to know more about you, or if they didn't already know you?
Yeah. Go to YouTube, type in Fruitful Investor. You'll find me. That's the best place. Instagram, Mat Piche. Those two, you'll see everything behind the scenes, what I'm doing every day, all my videos, all my projects.
Yeah. One thing I can say, like, Matt's very transparent, says what's on his mind. Curse words and all, which I really appreciate, not holding anything back. We need more of that. We need, people who just tell it like it is. And, and I appreciate that about what you do. I appreciate you coming over today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice connecting again.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Please make sure to share this episode far and wide. Help it help more people. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks. I'll see you on the next one.